Good morning, y'all. I am not even really with the world yet. I don't even know if my camera is straight. No, it looks pretty good. Okay, cool. We're gonna be playing with some new stuff at Sephora today, and I mean, it's almost never a first impression. These are things that I have gotten a lot of opportunities to try, and I'm actually really excited to like share them with you, especially this right here. This is, I mean, I've been talking about it a lot in recent videos. This is the new Makeup by Mario foundation. The first Makeup by Mario foundation was elaborately disappointing. Sorry, but I'm gonna go ahead and spoil it like this isn't, and I'm excited to show it to you in 4K. I also bought his new Ethereal Eyes palette. It is quite pretty to look at. I'm not gonna give anything away. We're just going to apply it and talk about it, and I will give you my thoughts, obviously. I also have 2 shades of the new Glossier Blush. This is the Seamless Cheek color. I got the shade Gale, which I don't own in any other formula. I don't know if they have it in the other Cloud Paint formula. And then I got my classic, which is Storm. Storm is the original Fjord's Cheeks shade. If you're unfamiliar with Fjord's Cheeks, we haven't talked about Fjord's Cheeks in a long time, but it's basically like if you just ran a lap. And like, it's like the natural, I mean, Boyfriend Blush went around for a while too, but like we've been talking about Fjord's Cheeks for a long time. I also, and this is ironically not at Sephora. We already tried it in the shade that is at Sephora, but I got two more shades of the Gucci matte setting powder because these are shades that aren't on Sephora because Sephora decided not to carry the entire line. So I bought the next 2, like the first 2 light shades, and we will be using that today to make a point.
And I didn't mention it, but there will be a whole segment dedicated to the Merit Archival set at the end.
And I think that's gonna be enough newness for this video so that we can really give the appropriate amount of time to each product. So let's go ahead and jump in, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed the hair being down, because that was it. I got new jewelry put in my conch piercing over the weekend, and now I'm just like making turquoise my entire personality. I'm like, look at that. Oh, I'm gonna get my nails done that color next time. So, I'm kind of hot. All right, there's really not a lot to consider in terms of like the need for skin prep with this Makeup by Mario foundation. Let me go ahead and kind of read the specs on it. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those formulas that's just like low stress. So he called it the same thing, except that now it's natural finish. So it's the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Natural Finish Foundation. And it is a frosted bottle with white lettering just so that you don't end up buying the wrong one. The other one has black lettering on it. 8 times 4 is 32 shades. Numbers don't always mean everything, but like that shade range, when it's all swatched out on the arms, I'm obviously, you know, taking a bird's eye view here, but it looks very nice and evenly distributed. I've said this throughout, talking about this and applying it, you know, in other videos, but this is a formula that feels like it has his passion behind it. It feels like he really cared. Not that he didn't care about the first one, but I honestly feel like it was like someone telling him, like maybe Trendspotters or something, or maybe Sephora, or I don't know, telling him this is what's in style, is to do this like dewy formula, and he just didn't really like have the inspiration behind it to like, it just didn't feel like he wanted to make that foundation. And so it didn't perform very well. It was really like slushy and sludgy for a dewy formula. Nothing about it came together. And this is, okay, so if I have to describe it, yes, it is truly a natural finish. It has just the right amount of blur, just the right amount of, not radiance in the sense that it has like reflective particles in it, I don't think, but like radiance just in the sense that it's not, you know, completely mattifying my skin. And I love the coverage level. I really do. And especially since like, sometimes they'll put like too much of something in there that my freckles will start to kind of like show through gray. And that's not what's happening here. And oh, by the way, I have the shade 0.5N and like very good undertone match. Probably arguably a little bit light for me, but it definitely works. Like I don't think that I need a different shade. The way that it feels is weightless. I love that. I think that that's one of the biggest things that's like a preference thing for me. When people come into my comments asking me why I didn't like a foundation that someone else liked or something like that, so much of the time it just comes down to comfort. And I just want something to like not really feel noticeable on my skin. And this, you just put it on and I mean, it's like you forget about it. There's something so nice about that. Like the first layer that you put on, that it doesn't feel like, oh God, you know what I mean? Like, ugh, I'm gonna be working against this with every other product I put on my face. It feels really, really feather light. I love the appearance of it. It's just the right amount of coverage for me. It builds a little bit. It builds a little bit. I would not say that you can like rely on this to like build to full coverage, but you know, I'll demo here. It'll build. See, you can get some build out of it. And it's, I mean, like I said, it's so lightweight, you know, why not? But it just doesn't have like that terribly much coverage to it, which I like in a foundation. I will use my concealer for coverage, but I do hope that he comes out with a concealer inspired by this formula, because I would love a concealer that had more coverage, like a formula like this that had more coverage. That would be amazing, because I think that he's really done something brilliant here, and it wears all day on me. And it's like just hydrated enough, it never dries out and starts cracking, but it's also, it never gets like creasy, which is what'll happen sometimes when a foundation's too emollient. It'll like crease in these lines and stuff. Like that's, you know, a lot of times when there's like a lot of skincare ingredients in a foundation formula, that's the first thing I'll notice, is that it like doesn't tolerate powder really well, and it'll like cake in those lines. This is so freaking thin that, I mean, I don't want to say it's going to work for everybody, but it is so less prone to settling into lines and stuff, because it's incredibly, incredibly thin. And it has this like silicone balance to it that the finish just doesn't feel like it wants to move after you put it on. I'm really impressed with it, if you can't tell. Oh, and it's $48. Let me turn the light down and you can really see the finish on it. I would say that you don't really need to powder it. It's, at least on me, I'm very dry skin. So, I mean, maybe on some people with oilier skin, you're always going to want to powder everything, but I mean, look at that. It just looks like my skin. It's really nice. Okay, I'm gonna do my concealer and the Mary Phillips palette. I'm gonna go in with the Face Flex from Sarah Creal in the shade 1, and I have the Mary Phillips palette also in the lightest shade. It's technically an underpainting palette, but I find that it works just as well as like a full face contour and bronzing palette. I'm looking quite tan. It's gonna be taken down a notch by this Gucci powder. So let's go ahead and swatch the Gucci powder real quick. I'm gonna swatch all 3 of these shades. What a rare occasion, right? That I would like buy 3, what are these, $65 powders? Sometimes my curiosity just takes hold. I like have to know. So the shade that I bought initially is shade 1. It's the lightest shade that they're carrying at Sephora, right? And so it's quite yellow for me. Can you even see that? You can see it when I'm back here. Okay, that's helpful. All right, then we have 0.5, which is, someone in my comments said that it's like the olive shade. So you can see it's so much lighter. Oh, it's so much lighter, and yeah, boy, I can't even really tell the undertone. Like maybe it's olive, maybe it's not, I'm not sure, but it's just significantly lighter. And then we have 00, which is much lighter and a little bit pinker. I'm just heckin' mad. I'm gonna just like drive this point home until we're all sick of hearing about it. But it's like, why is Sephora not carrying whole shade ranges of complexion products? People are gonna end up with the wrong product in their hands like I did. It's fine, I guess, to do that with like blushes or other things that they want to be exclusive to the website, right? You know, Armani does that, Gucci does that, YSL does that, like lots of, Westman Atelier, plenty of brands have blushes that you can only get on their website. But to do that with a complexion product is like to pretend that there are people who will just settle for a different shade because they want to buy it from Sephora instead of the Gucci website. Like, that's silly. It's very annoying. I don't know why they do that. Like, I think that that's just bad form. My lips are a wreck. A wreck. This is that Chanel, like, lip serum. Save me, Chanel. Oh, they're in such bad shape. So I think I'm gonna use the olive shade. Maybe I'll brighten with the other one, but like shade 1, I'm probably gonna return it. It's too dark, it's too yellow. Oh, I did pull out a bunch of clean brushes though. I'm very excited about it. It doesn't look clean, but it is. I did clean this. This is a Nikki LaRose N15 for BK, and we're going in with 0.5. I do really like this formula. That's why I bought more shades in it, is because I was like, listen, I have a feeling this is gonna be something that is in heavy rotation in my routine, but I want the right color in it. Look how pretty that is. I don't know if it's better than the Kosas. I don't know. The Kosas is so pretty. It'll, you know, time will have to tell, but it's just, it's very, very lovely. They did a great job with it. Feels really like lightweight, but also really secure too. I like that a lot. Let's bring it back to the old days with some Glossier, right? So like I said, I mean, this is what I typically do, right? Is I always kind of try and buy the weird shades. And when I went into Glossier, because they like canceled my order, I don't know what happened, but I actually went into Glossier in Soho with Hindash. He swatched them on his hand, and he's so olive that like all of these turned, all of these turned orange on him. And so I do want to caution olive undertones probably against these. I've always said that about Glossier's color choices, especially with their lip colors. I was always like, why are they all so extreme? Why do they all kind of have this like oversaturation of orange in them? And that does seem to be the case even in their subtler shades like these, where it just like, it just kind of, you know, transforms on the skin in a not that great way if you have an olive or probably like, you know, blue undertone. Now, another thing to note here is that even though I bought Storm because I love Storm, it is very clearly not meant for my skin tone in this formula. They have really packed it with pigment. It is very much meant for deep skin tones. So like, I don't know how much use I'm gonna get out of it today. Like that might be the review. It's just that like, we'll talk about the formula and everything, but like that color is going to instantly overwhelm my face because it's just clearly not meant for me. But what a pretty color, right? You know what it reminds me of? And actually the formula reminds me of it too, is the Sochi blushes, and it reminds me of the shade Copper Spice, which might be why I like Copper Spice so much. Wow. Yeah. So it's that same velvety putty texture. I do like the Sochi ones better. They're just softer. But you can see it's browner, doesn't have quite as much of that orange in there. I feel like this is going to be less likely to go like straight up Cheeto orange on those cooler skin undertones. Speakeasy's downstairs, but I don't think that that's really relevant in this situation. Yeah, I think what we want is Rosy Rest. Rosy Rest is gonna be the most comparable to Gale. Oh, it's much pinker, much pinker. So, I mean, there's a lot more shade. There are a lot more shades in the Glossier, obviously, but I'm gonna grab a Travel 107 here because it's clean, and we will just see what we can get out of this. One thing that they do have going for them, I mean, so does Sochi, but like they did make a replaceable pan. I'm not gonna pull it out, but the pan does pull out right there. So you can see this one is very much, this is meant for my skin tone. It has an appropriate amount of pigment to it. I would just be careful. Some of them are clearly more pigmented, like they're meant to be more pigmented for deeper skin tones. So just kind of like, I don't know, it's like you need to like swatch them. I guess online you can probably see it. It's just a pretty, you know, kind of nude pink. It sort of reminds me of Mimi a little bit from Westman Atelier. Well, actually it's peacher than Mimi. It's easy to work with. It is. Like in this shade, I'm just not sure that like I'm that excited about this shade on its own. Like it just kind of doesn't say that much. Maybe we'll try a tiny bit of Storm, but God, it could really go sideways really fast. But you can see, even though it's like lower pigment, or maybe it's just like closer to my skin tone, maybe that's what it is that makes it so easy. It's very pretty. I mean, good grief, that's a pretty finish. And also we're getting the finish from the Makeup by Mario foundation coming through, but it's also like, it's opaque, you know? And that was always the thing with the cloud paints as well, is they're very opaque. I don't know, y'all, let's see. Let's just see. This takes nothing. I'm gonna really like spread this out on the brush here. We'll get a little bit of Storm. Okay, maybe I'm being too cautious. Yeah, there we go. I definitely have gotten too much of this on very, very quickly before. It's a nice sunburny shade. It's like you can, you know, bring it down to the boyfriend cheeks thing. I feel like I'm not demonstrating my point until I get this into a place where I can't bail myself out, and I don't want to do that. But yeah, I mean, they leave a really, really beautiful finish on the skin. I do like them. I do. I would just say that like they're, for all the colors that they did, I wish that they catered to more people. I wish they just had a little more grunge, a little more nuance. Okay, I'm gonna grab the other two Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes palettes and we'll compare. I'm not gonna swatch every single shade. I'm sure that there are channels who have done that, but like, I really just wanna get into the application. I have Ethereal Eyes one here. I have Ethereal Eyes Moonlight here. And then I have the new Ethereal Eyes Nature here. One of the biggest things that I want to call out, because yeah, a lot of people said that like these shades are incredibly similar. And I would say that like the first three, because this one, I mean, not similar to this. I'm not a big fan of the Moonlight one. It just wasn't for me. But the main thing being these first three matte shades. This one's not matte. It actually has a little bit of sparkle in it, but I want to swatch those against each other real quick. So here we have Ethereal Eyes, like the original Ethereal Eyes, and this is Ethereal Eyes Nature. Yes, we have some similarities here, but you can clearly see that like these are composed to be all in one palette. It's not like, oh, you own the other one, so I'm gonna exclude the full composition of the palette, you know, because I assume that you already own the other one. Like, no, I mean, you know, he wants it to still make all of the eye looks. So there are going to be some crossover similarities, especially like in these shades, but you can see that the original Ethereal Eyes, it just has a lot more coolness to it, where this one leans a little warmer, a little pinker. I do kind of find that like the formulas in the Nature one too, I don't know if he changed the formula, but do you see how like these are much more solid swatches? Like the formula feels creamier and easier to pick up in the new one on the mattes. I really like the mattes. I loved his old matte formula that he did in the, what was it called? Foreplay Everyday. I swear y'all, that's why I don't remember normal stuff, is because I remember things like that. But they were these quads that were all in nude colors for different skin tones, and they were beautiful, and they had more like silicone grip to them. These don't have that, and I didn't really like that he abandoned that formula, but I feel like he's come back to something here that is really great in its own right in the mattes. Now, I do have some kind of like, I don't know, maybe I need to swatch these to see if memory serves, because I feel like I'm a little disappointed by the shimmers. Yeah, listen, I mean, they're pretty, but they're not as ethereal. Do you see that? Like, these just glint. They have a wet look, and these don't. They don't go wet look. They're pretty, but I would not call these shimmers in the new palette wet look. That's the only thing. They're very, very pretty. They are celestial. They're very sparkly and pretty, but like when I put them on, you'll see they don't do what these do in the light. Because I remember being in an elevator with a friend, you know, when like the fluorescent lighting was coming down on their eyes, and I was like, what do you have on your eyes? And they were like, oh, it's Ethereal Eyes. And it's like one of those things where it's, you have to ask, because you're like, that's gorgeous. That's really, you know, it's stunning. It just like draws your eye. This I feel like doesn't have that same ethereal quality to it. Like I said, I really like the mattes. You're gonna see they blend incredibly well. This color right here is an oddly like green tan. I'm gonna start there actually. So like, you know, looks like it's laying down a lot of pigment, but you don't have to be careful. I'm not getting fallout. Things do tend to go a little bit grayer on me. So you can see it's like pulling very cool there in the crease. It's a green gray on me, but it's a great crease color. There are just a lot of options here. So I'm gonna take this kind of pinker one right there, and I'm gonna just kind of go more all over with that. We'll do something a little bit like rosy and soft. This is much easier to blend in the Moonlight palette. Wow, 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 wow. I mean, if memory serves, that one, I mean, those colors don't really look very at home on me, so that's always gonna be more difficult. These are definitely far more skin native for me, but at the same time, like, it's truly effortless. It's a lovely matte formula. I really like the mattes. I'm gonna take a little brush here and go underneath my eyes with that same kind of like rosy color. It's like a rosy taupe. It's beautiful. I'm gonna grab a smaller brush. This is the 211 from BK. It's so nice and clean, oh my God. And I'm gonna grab a little bit of this kind of darker brown and work that onto the crease on both sides. I've been wearing this a lot, but I do find that like I get a matte eye look on it. I'm like, God, that's gorgeous. And then I go in with the shimmers and I'm like, It just doesn't give me the satisfaction that I got from the original Ethereal Eyes. And they're all kind of like that. It's not like, oh, I'm shying away from the green and the green is going to be the one that has the most texture. I've like layered them all up and really tried to get that payoff from it, and it just isn't really there. So that's just such a satisfying blend. I'm taking the lightest shade. It does have a little bit of a glitter in there, but you know, it's mostly matte. And I'm just kind of sealing everything down, getting like, you know, an even texture. Let me swatch these shimmers for y'all and then we'll make some choices. So there are 6 textured shades in here and they're pretty. I like the color story. Again, I think that this is very kind to olive undertones. You know, it's got the green, it's got the mauve, it's got the bronziness. I think I was just hoping for ethereal eyes. You know what I mean? I was hoping for some like wet look shadows. I'm gonna stop beating a dead horse here. I think I'll go in with like a little bit of this to give us a little bit of texture on the lid, and then I'll layer some of these on top. I think I'm just gonna use my finger for this. Really get the placement right. No, that one's really nice. That's beautiful. It's when I've put the green on top that I feel like I'm like, it doesn't really go with those like browns and pinks. It just like kind of jumps off my face in a weird way. That's beautiful though. That's freaking gorgeous. I think I've shied away from that color because in context it looks so purple. Oh, wow, it's so pretty. That color is gorgeous. I'm gonna take that on a little brush here, go underneath my eyes with it. Get a little sparkle. But I would say that like, as you know, as the tone of my voice sounds so negative talking about my expectations versus what this actually is, I will say as a standalone palette, it's very beautiful and it's very useful. I just don't really understand like the way that the green is in there but doesn't really harmonize with the rest of it. I'm gonna take some of this sparkly shade and kind of unify that with the inner corner. But do you see, I mean, it's very subtle. Like it's a very, very, even as you just like layer these colors on, there's never any moment where you're like kind of overwhelmed. Even if I get into this really dark shade, which I don't know, maybe we will, I don't think I will. Regardless, it does feel like a very easy everyday palette just because it gives you this like smokiness, like comfort zone, you know? Okay, so I'm gonna start in just layering this one on top. And you see, it's pretty, but it is simply a celestial shimmer. It's very pretty. It is not ethereal. And maybe I'm being persnickety, but I also really value y'all's time and money, you know? I'm gonna grab a little bit of that. This is a Singe E10. It does pick up nicely on a brush. One thing that I did notice about these is that like, it doesn't feel like they're committing. You know? Yeah, and there's a ton. Oh goodness. Maybe that was my finger. I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of fallout with the shimmers. They don't feel like they really stick on the lid all that well. Like they don't really want to adhere once you already have something down, like a matte already down. And so it does, it feels like the wear time isn't going to be that great. And I have kind of found that where it's just like, it's not like they crease really badly or anything. It's just like they get really subtle really quickly. Like you just don't get a ton of like shimmery payoff. But I think that this is a beautiful look, you know? And this one's a little bit bronzier. We'll just kind of layer it, see what we can get. Yeah, and it makes it a little more neutral to do that. But it's like, I don't want to go too nuts because it's all going underneath my eyes. All told though, I mean, it's a very like moody, smoky, romantic looking eye. I think it's very, very pretty, but like, it's just not really what I was hoping for. And maybe my expectations are wrong. Mario, I think it could have been more ethereal. For 6 shimmer shades, like we just didn't get a lot of ethereal. Y'all are gonna be so bored if I just put on a lip gloss, you know? I have these new Merit lip colors. Let's see if one of those will go. So this is one of the new holiday sets from Merit. Ah, this color looks like it's gonna be great, actually. So I think these colors only come in, help, I need like a crowbar in this collection. So this is, oh yeah, so they made Archival into a lip. And then I have Archival. Oh, are they all Archival? Is the whole thing? Oh, it's called the Archival Set. I've clearly done my research. Oh yeah. Okay, that's easy because we're so in this like mauve territory. This is so beautiful. So yeah, this is the Archival Set. We'll see if we want to use the lipstick or the lip oil, but this will be perfect. So I'm going to do my liner and my mascara and my brows real quick, and then we will come back and play with this Archival Set from Merit. fresh tube of my Kulfi Free the Brow. It's a nice feeling. I'm stoked about this. I am sorry that I didn't like think to include this in the beginning of the video. This is sort of a little surprise inclusion. 3 products from Merit, and this all came in a holiday set. These are all full size, which is cool. That's one of the things that drives me absolutely up a wall about holiday sets, is that everything is tiny. I don't like tiny things. It's just a personal thing. I'm just not a fan of small things that I'm going to lose. Oh God. Look at that color, it's so beautiful. God. I do love their lip liner. It's like everything just like gets eclipsed and blah, 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 but like, oh my God, what a great formula. Interesting that they have taken, I like when brands do this actually. When they translate it from one formula to the other, they make them coordinate, but they don't make them identical. The Archival lip liner is not the same color as the Archival lip oil or the Archival lipstick. Let's start with the lip liner. I have become a bit of a lipstick girl lately, so might go in that direction. I know y'all are rooting for it. Everybody's like, put on more. It's a very, hello, soft and pliable formula, which is why I'm not weirded out by the fact that it's, you know, dark on me. Got that beautiful purple undertone to the brown. And if you do let this sit for a minute, it won't blur quite as easily. Like, it does have staying power once it's down, but it does give you a lot of play. And it's just an unusual formula. I like it a lot. I find it to be really foolproof. My lips are in awful shape. Blame my boyfriend. Blame my boyfriend. Let's see about this lipstick. This is actually, I don't want to speak too soon, but like this is a color that usually works pretty well on me because it's got so much mauve to it that like it's kind of the same color as my lips. You see that? Is this the matte formula? Signature Lip Blush. I think so. I think this is the matte formula. Oh, that's really pretty, isn't it? It's a very comfortable formula. It's lovely. Please don't hold it against the product that my lip line is so scattered. That's so pretty. It makes me feel like I need some mauve blush though. You know, it's not that it's the fault of the Glossier blush necessarily, it's just like, you're not gonna get mauve out of a Glossier blush. Sorry. So, well, Speakeasy is downstairs. This is very much Dolce Vita coated. Maybe I'm gonna see if I can find some Dolce Vita blush. Hang on. Yeah, my Dolce Vita powder blush from NARS is the old formula. Like, it's old as the hills. Not that there's anything wrong with that formula. I just think it's probably expired. But I have here Impassioned, which is like a lighter version of that. And I will just add a little bit of that to really like bring all the tonality together without completely overwhelming everything. Awesome. Awesome, y'all. Should we add a little bit of the Merit lip oil on top and just see? Oh, pretty. I was gonna say the vodka, but it's nice. It's pretty. That's just a lovely look, isn't it? I feel like I'm ASMR Kackie today. I'm like so whispery, but like that's all the voice I've got right now. All right, y'all, let's chat final thoughts on the products that were new today. I hope you can see how easy the rest of the face of makeup was after applying this. I think that that goes such a long way with me with foundations. It's like, if you can make my life easier and feel weightless on my skin, home run. Even though I'm not like the hugest fan of his new palette, like I think this is such a home run. This is so excellent. I think the shade range looks really promising. I think the pricing is pretty good. It's, you know, Sephora prestige price. And the performance is just so lovely. It's just so lovely. It's like incredibly flattering. And it's just a balanced thing that doesn't want to make any claims about having skincare in it or anything like that. I feel like it's like the formula that he set out to do in the beginning, where he was like, this is really versatile. This is for so many people. You can really make it matte or you can make it dewy. And I was like, no, you can't. With this, you can. You can really make this matte or make this dewy. It's a crowd pleaser of a product. I'm so impressed with it, just in the sense that it just makes everything so easy. I feel like I was like unfair about these Glossier blushes because I'm comparing them to the Sochi blushes, and I just am like romantically in love with the Sochi blushes. And this formula just doesn't feel quite as elegant, but it's still really, really lovely. It just falls right in line with what I've come to expect from Glossier, in the sense that the colors themselves are all a little less grungy than I would like, but that also means that they're probably going to be really ideal for someone else. I just found that like Gale, for all of its, I mean, this is like probably the palest, most non-color in the line. It still read as like kind of a pretty flat pink on me. Like I was pretty like underwhelmed. I was like, that looks pretty blah on my skin. It's really not doing me any favors. And Storm is really beautiful, but it's definitely for another, like a different skin depth. I think it's a nice way to extend the Cloud Paint family. I think that they did a really lovely job with it. There are like a few things that are gonna keep it from going into heavy rotation with me, but like, I'm not gonna caution anybody. If there's a color in it that you really like, then I think you're going to be really happy with the purchase. You know what I mean? Like, I think that it's a really, really beautiful formula. But if you're looking for something that's a more nuanced version of some of these colors, it is a smaller range, but the Sochi blushes are incredible, and they do have some more kind of grungier mauve colors. I feel like I've said most of what needs to be said about this, because I mean, you can see I've gotten quite a lot of use out of it. I have really tested it. I just find that every look that I end up with is just so soft. It's not a bad thing, but it is. It's like very soft. I was hoping for just a little more light refraction, you know what I mean? Just a little more magic. And while this is very, very pretty, I think that he missed the mark on like having this many textured shadows, and none of them is a wet look topper. Not one. It kind of feels like Pat McGrath like choosing not to put special shades in a Mothership. It just kind of feels, you're like, you know, like. So I will say, to his credit, the mattes he's done something with. Like, they're beautiful. They're really, really lovely. There's something new about them that makes them so easily malleable and manipulable on the skin. I really, really enjoy the mattes. I will like continue using the mattes, but I find that like it kind of belly flops when it gets to the shimmers, and it's just kind of disappointing for me. So, and honestly, you know, this is a set, this is a holiday set, and it's a special edition set. I don't think that these colors come in these formulas on the shelves normally. So, I mean, if that's something that you love, I think Archival is such a beautiful shade in their blush that translating it into three lip formulas is pretty genius, and I love the way that it ended up. It's just gorgeous. So I hope that y'all enjoyed seeing that, and the fact that like the Archival lip liner is much darker, much deeper, you know, much moodier, and I think that it balances out with these really beautifully. I'm just very pleased with it. And it's nice, honestly, to have a color in one of their lipsticks that actually really works for me. That's always been my, not complaint, but like, I mean, you could argue, chief complaint of their lipsticks is that like, I've never gotten to really enjoy their formulas because none of the colors worked that well for me. Whereas I compare it to the original signature lip, I compare a lot to the explicit lipstick formula from NARS, and the NARS colors work so much better for me. So all that to say, I think that this is lovely. I love the matte lip formula. I love the kind of low pigment of it, the kind of a balmy texture to it. I'm glad that I kind of like looked to my right and saw this, you know, and I was like, I don't want to bore y'all just by putting on something boring on my lips. So I hope you liked this, y'all. I hope it was valuable. I hope it was fun. If it was any of those things, please give the video a thumbs up. If you're new here or you just haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe while you're here. I'll put a video up here that I think you'll enjoy if you liked this one. Thank y'all so much for being here, for hanging out with me today. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.